Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about something in Genesis as well as a story called the Tower of Babel. One of the things I thought about that was really interesting about Genesis is the fact that Adam and Eve, before they had eaten from the tree, the Bible claims that they were immortal. You see, in the Bible it says, when they ate from the tree, this was the first time that sin had came into the world, and because of sin, it resulted in death. So my question is this: if Adam and Eve were actually immortal and we were to take the Bible literally, wouldn't that mean that they wouldn't be able to have children? Have you ever seen the show Highlander before with Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod? According to the story of the Highlander who is immortal, he can never have children with a woman. And the reason why he can't is because the moment that he fertilizes the egg, the child, the fetus, will never develop or grow because it's immortal. When you're immortal, you don't age, you don't grow. So, in this sense, Adam and Eve could not have had children unless Satan had actually convinced them to eat from the tree. That's if you believe that Satan was actually the snake. There is absolutely no evidence in the story of Genesis that would embark on the idea that Satan is a snake. Actually, in mythology, some people believe that it was Lilith who transformed herself into a snake out of jealousy for the fact that Adam was now connected with another woman. Another really interesting thing that I find in the story is the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel destroys all the attributes of God that a lot of Christians claim, like God being all-powerful, God being omniscient, omnipotent, all-knowing, all this, all that. According to the story, God created this tower. Well, he didn't create the tower, but he created the people that created this tower. And he gets pissed off. These angels come up to him in his estate in heaven and they tell him, hey, the human beings are creating a tower. And God's like, really? Really? There goes God, just like always, asking questions that he's already supposed to know. He's like, they're really creating a tower down there. And the angels are like, yeah, God, yeah, hello. So God, according to the story, ends up leaving his estate in heaven and coming down to see for himself if it's true that the Tower of Babel was built. Apparently God doesn't like big buildings. So he comes down and he's like, whoa, what's going on and everything like that. Yikes, people are doing this. And this shows also that God is not omnipresent. Not only does he not know everything, but he's also not omnipresent. Because if God was omnipresent, he would have already been there at the Tower of Babel and watched it from the get-go being constructed into the sky like what the story claims. So do you understand the problem, the dichotomy? And then the story tries to tell us a contradictory account. And a lot of Christians don't notice this, but in the story of Genesis, before the Tower of Babel was even built, it says that many, many different tribes spoke different languages and tongues. So people were already speaking different languages and different tongues and all that, and communicating in all types of different ways. I'm sure that there were people who were speaking in languages that were deaf and mute, a certain kind of primitive sign language. So when the story comes along and tells us that all of a sudden God changed everything and that he made everybody confused by changing their speech and all that, that's pure and utter horseshit. The Bible already tells us that people spoke in many tongues. This is one of the reasons why I believe that Genesis was written by many different people and not just one person, because the story can't seem to keep consistent with what's going on. And there's a lot of Bible scholars out there too that believe that the story of Genesis was written by more than one person, which would explain all the different accounts of creation. So it's something to think about. The Tower of Babel shows us that God is not omnipotent, he's not omnipresent. Something wrong there. Try to think about my Adam and Eve story that I told you. God would have actually had to set it up to where they ate from the tree in order for them to be able to reproduce, bear fruit, and multiply. The entire time the Satan character had told the truth whenever he said, eat from the tree, and if you eat from this tree, your eyes will be opened and they will be like God. You will be like God. And even God, at the end of the Genesis story, says to the same effect that, hey, their eyes are open. They've become like gods. Something to think about. Thank you, folks. You've been listening to Brett Keane.